It's 2024 and marketing is changing a lot, but if you took away every single other marketing platform from me, my ads, my businesses, my content, and if you told me I only had one tool to keep my business going and to go from 0 to 7 figures, this is the one tool I would use 10 out of 10 times. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing my #1 channel for growing brands and acquiring our customers. It's been responsible for 30, 40, and even 50% of the sales of some of our 7- and 8-figure brands, and it's how we grow our business as well. Beyond that, it's also responsible for more profit than any other channel for each and every one of our clients. Now, just before I dive in, marketing is changing massively in 2024. 2023 had some pretty major shifts, and 2024 is going to be no different. What worked on Facebook, Google, or Instagram a year ago doesn't work today, and sometimes even what worked last month doesn't work anymore. But as you look into the future, one thing is for certain: change is inevitable, and these platforms are going to continue to change. But one platform has not changed in 20 years, and it'll likely continue to be consistent for 20 years to come. And that platform is email. Email marketing is the only platform that has remained consistent for decades, and that's why I love it so much. Instead of having to reinvent strategies every single year, you can follow the same tried and true strategies in email marketing, and they continue to produce results. The best part is the results are better than any other platform, and for every $1 you spend on email, it'll return you $42 back. And this is just an average, so if you're better than average, because let's be real, no one likes average, then you could be generating $50, $60, or $70 per dollar you spend. Insane. And no other platform can do it. But here's the thing. A lot of people overcomplicate it, and they get a couple crucial things wrong. They end up pissing people off, ruining their domain reputation, and often landing in spam folders more often than not. It's easy to make these mistakes, but it's also hard to avoid making mistakes in the first place. So in this video, I'm going to reveal our 5-step secrets that we've used to generate millions of dollars for our clients. And here's the thing. This is beneficial whether you're a beginner or whether you're an expert. So let's dive in. The first thing is list building. So the first piece of all of this is just building a list. The most important part of email marketing is actually to have emails in the first place. Before diving into ways to build a list though, the #1 thing you do not want to do is buy a list. You're getting people who are not interested, have no idea who you are, and it has a negative impact on your deliverability. A lot of people are going to mark it as spam. You want people to opt into your list, and there's a few ways to do that. Now, just before I get into the best ways to do this, one of the biggest mistakes we see brands make is running an opt-in or a giveaway that has absolutely nothing to do with your brand. Anyone wants a trip to Mexico. You want people on your list who actually want to be there for you. What we want to do is have a pop-up on your website encouraging people to opt in to your list specifically. Think about it from their perspective. Why would they actually want to join in the first place? What are the benefits to them? Oftentimes, you can start with a discount off their first purchase, but if you don't want to do that, try a free gift with purchase or a percentage off when they subscribe. Once you have something, we always want to test to see if we can make it better. Here's how we usually test. The first thing we test is the offer, i.e. testing 10% off versus $10 off, or testing a free gift with purchase, or a percentage off a certain subscription. The next thing we'll test is the creative and the copy. These are all of the written words and the visual elements within the pop-up. We'll test the call to action text and the color, the timing, so do we want it to show up immediately or on exit intent, test the unique colors, the sizes, the shapes, and all of these different tests will help to improve your opt-in rates, which means you're getting more people on your list. Now, the next piece of the puzzle is actually getting to the inbox, i.e. deliverability. You send an email records are then authenticated and hopefully confirmed, and then based off of your domain and email reputation and the authentication results, one of the following things are going to happen. You're either going to get blocked, sent to spam, bounced, or you end up in the inbox. If you don't land in the inbox and you're having issues with poor email deliverability, there's 3 main metrics to look at: bounce rates, spam rates, and unsubscribe rates. So let's break these down. Bounce rates are what percentage of your emails are bouncing and not being delivered to the desired recipient. Now, before we look at how to improve this, there's 2 main causes of high bounce rates: hard bounces, which is something permanent, like a fake email or misspelled email, and soft bounces, which is something temporary, like a server issue. Now, how do you optimize these bounce rates? Well, creating a segment that identifies chronic soft bouncers is a great way to start. Now, with hard bounces, most ESPs are actually going to automatically remove those people for you. The next thing to look at is spam rates. Now, spam rates are the percentage of emails that are considering your emails as spam. Now, before we look at best practices here, there's 3 main causes of high spam rates. Number 1, the recipient marked your email sender's address as spam. Number 2, your email deliverability reputation is poor. And number 3 is red flags in your subject line or your email content. Some examples of this might be only using images in your emails, like you are using 100% images and 0 text. This can often mark your emails as spam. Using spam words in your content or your subject lines, links from non-credible websites, using all caps and yelling at people in the entire email. Grammatical errors can trigger these spam filters. And then another big one is no address in the email can actually trigger those spam filters as well. So if you do know you have these problems, here's how you go about optimizing your spam rates and basically trying to eliminate them altogether. Use the 60-40 balance for images to text ratio so that your emails are not being marked as spam, meaning you have 60% image and 40% text. Another big piece is don't use spam words. Test the content first if you're getting high spam rates and see if the content is actually flagging something first. There's a number of tools online that you can use for this, but it's really important that you do it. Check to see that all your links are credible and don't overuse links either. Beyond that, double check your emails and just make sure you're using the right spelling and grammar. These next 2 things are super important, not only from a deliverability standpoint, but also from a legal standpoint. Make sure you have an unsubscribe button and an address and an email in your email in every single one that you send. Now, the final piece here to look at is your unsubscribe rates. Now, unsubscribes are the percentage of email recipients that unsubscribe from your emails. Again here though, before we look at the best practices, the main cause of high unsubscribe rates is just lack of segmentation. If you're struggling with this, one of the best ways we've found to decrease unsubscribe rates is to increase your segmentation. Keep only the most engaged users in the campaigns, do not buy email lists, and segment giveaway subscribers into different lists as well. So if you're running a giveaway, put that into a separate segment. Okay, so assuming you're actually getting to customers' inboxes, that's great. That's step 1. Now, next, you want to make sure your emails are actually getting opened. After all, if they don't open your email, it doesn't matter how long you spend on your designs. But just before I dive into how we're able to get our clients up to 70 and 80% open rates, one of the biggest pitfalls we see brands make is just batching and blasting. Everything I'm about to tell you right now doesn't matter if you're not segmenting your list. It doesn't matter because you're not speaking to the right people at the right time with the right message if you're not segmenting. Assuming you're doing this though, here's some of the best tests we run to improve open rates. Number 3 is one that pretty much none of these brands that we're working with have done before. The first thing is subject lines. Personalize this. Spark intrigue and create curiosity, but keep it short. Your objective is not to sell, it's to get them to open. Number 2 is preview text. Preview text is basically like an extension of the subject line. Here's what you want to do with the preview text. Spark curiosity, create urgency, and personalize it. The third way to improve open rates is to split test send times. This is going to vary depending on your brand, so it's really important that you actually test it. The best way to optimize this is just to test. Some platforms like Klaviyo have smart sending campaign features, which will allow you to actually send it at the time that they think and they see as the most optimal time. Okay, great. So once you've got people to actually open your email, now we need them to click and do something. Getting them to click isn't as hard as people make it out to be, and I'll get to that and a few key tips in just a moment. But here are some of the biggest mistakes that we see brands make in their emails. Trying to sell everything. No white space. White space isn't a bad thing. No or too few CTAs. too many CTAs, asking too much of people. We try to keep our emails as simple as humanly possible. Less is more. The fewer calories that someone has to burn in order to perform a desired action you want them to take, the better. Keep your designs clean and make sure it's scannable. Remember, white space isn't actually a bad thing, it's actually great. You don't want an email that looks like you have to commit to reading a short story to even get started. Mix in some images, some text, and keep the text short, sweet, and punchy. It shouldn't be an opportunity for you to just word vomit everything about your brand and your products. It should be a concise communication, clearly articulating the benefits to the customer. Now, one thing to know, you need to include the following in every footer for every single email you send. I said this before, but this is to ensure you're in compliance with anti-spam laws and so that you don't end up in the spam folder. The mailing address, the email address, and a link to your website. Beyond that, you need to make sure you have a unsubscribe link in every single email that you send. Okay, so you've made it this far. Now this is the most important stage, getting them to buy or actually convert. Now the main metric we're gonna wanna look at here is your conversion rate or your CVR. If your overall website conversion rate is low, that's going to impact your advertising and your marketing initiatives on every single platform you're advertising on. Now, this in and of itself can take hours and hours to explain, but there's another video for that. But in this video, I'm just going to run through things in a very high level. Basically, I just want to look at the key things that are going to impact conversion rate from an email perspective. So what we really look at is the landing page view to view content rate. So how many people are going from hitting the landing page, wherever you're sending them to actually viewing a product, from view content to add to cart. So from viewing a product to actually adding it to cart, from adding it to cart to initiating checkout, different. And then from initiating checkout to purchase. Understanding each one of these different phases is going to be really important because as you progress down the funnel, as you move from a site visitor and someone who's just checked out a product to someone who has added to cart or initiated checkout or purchased, each one of these people has expressed a higher degree of interest. So what you want to make sure you're doing with your marketing messages, and what we do for our clients, is each step along the way, you want to address some of their key issues and key objections that they might have. For example, if someone has just checked out a product page, they may or may not be interested in the product. So they may need a reminder to come back and check it out, but they also might need to see some other products. Now, it's different if someone has abandoned checkout. If someone's abandoned checkout, they've showed a very high level of intent. They're like, this is the thing I want it. I'm going to add it to my cart, and they're going to get right to the very end, but for some reason they didn't purchase. Usually that's going to come down to one of three things. They don't trust you, they think it's too expensive, or there's some issue with the processing, whether it's shipping time, shipping costs, or something to do with that checkout process. So hopefully this video helped you. If you did get a lot out of this video, I invite you to like and subscribe. And if you do have an e-com brand doing at least $50,000 a month in revenue, I invite you to apply to work with us. There's a link in the description somewhere. Feel free to apply to work with us and we'd be happy to chat. Thanks so much and have a great day.